Hi there. Welcome back. I'm Dustin Lloyd, and this is my co-host and friend, Tristan Boo Boo Kirby.
Hello, everybody.
And this is the Everyday History Podcast, where we talk about the history of everyday everything. Today's topic, the history of one of the most exciting plays in baseball. A feat that never fails to get a crowd to their feet, no matter how many times they've seen it. That's right. Today's topic is the history of the foul ball.
Oh, what? The foul ball?
Wait. I read that wrong. It's the home run.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That's right. We're talking about the home run today. Boo Boo, you a baseball fan?
What do you think?
I'm going to guess probably not.
You know me well.
Okay, I was going to say, in all the years we've known each other, I don't think I've ever had a baseball conversation with you.
That's because I am fat and never played sports.
Okay. So, I am fat also, and I've never played baseball.
But it is really exciting to some people.
It's not really a portly man's sport.
I don't see him out there a lot when I watch.
I guess if you go back in time, the ideal male athlete was probably somebody like Babe Ruth.
I love his candy bars.
God damn it. I almost called him Bob Ruth when I was saying that.
Bob Ruth.
I don't know why I had to fight to say Bob. I had to fight myself like, Babe Ruth.
Baby
Ruth. And you're over here immediately like, oh, I love his candy bars.
Baby Ruth.
God. So, I've never played baseball. You've never played baseball. I've watched some baseball.
I played a little bit in high school. Okay. Let me rewind. I played in gym class a couple of times in high school.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone's probably played baseball in some capacity.
I'm actually so fucking inept at any kind of sports that when I actually hit the ball one time and I was so fucking excited, I was like, oh my God, I fucking hit it.
And I just stood there.
I threw the fucking bat behind me and almost took out the dude's shins behind.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I just fucking threw it as hard as I could and started fat guy run.
That's something that baseball needs more of. I'm just going to go out and say it. I know a lot of people are thinking it. Where's the danger?
Luckily, he was athletic, so he jumped. He had good reflexes. I didn't hit him. I know, right?
So, for me, like that. I think every American boy has played baseball in some capacity, whether it be t-ball or just pitch and catch with, your cousins or your dad or whatever. Yeah. Not me per se. We were more of a football family, and my dad never really played any sports with us that I remember. Probably because he was busy, doing farmer stuff.
My dad did drugs.
This got
we didn't
dark.
play a lot of baseball. No.
But for me, and it just keeps getting dark. This is a great, energetic episode.
I'm sure he'll like baseball, maybe.
My granddad, God damn it.
Boom,
Why do you gotta keep doing with the dark jokes?
Last one, I swear, that was the last one. No more.
My grandpa, who's also dead, didn't do drugs. He was a big baseball guy.
Just over here. My grandpa didn't do drugs.
But he was a big baseball fan, so like my early memories growing up was watching the Orioles play because we're from Virginia. We didn't have the Virginia team, the Nationals back then.
Right.
So closest team was the Baltimore Orioles. It'd either be baseball or we'd be watching westerns. There's only two things I ever saw the man watch.
That's fair. I think that's most grandpas. I think in all seriousness, my family was just more like a football family, which I also didn't play.
He played a little bit, I believe, because he would have had to unless he just found those trophies at a thrift shop.
Possible.
But anything's possible. Question mark? Anything's possible. Yeah, so growing up, we watched a lot of baseball, and the memories I have of that is like, not quite understanding the rules, but knowing when my grandpa yelled at the TV and said, "Get your thumb out of your ass." He was talking to.
Do you have any like memorable moments from?
Yeah, when he would say, "Get your thumb out of your ass," was pretty memorable.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
And hearing my grandma yell at him in the other room not to be cussing in front of the kids because we were only like 6. So
I've never heard you cuss before.
Yeah, I very rarely say anything too fucked up.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
So yeah, Granddad played baseball. That was my exposure to it. That and, Westerns. But baseball's a very old game.
It is. I've heard it called America's game.
Yeah, at one point it was always called America's pastime, and I think if I've heard correctly, it's kind of been surpassed by other sports because it's one of those sports that has refused to change, and when they do change, everyone's like, oh, come on. What
they're like, boo, old timer, modernize. And then they're like, no, not like that. You suck.
Like, I know they've done things now to like change because it used to be a thing. I do remember this, watching the pitcher stand there forever.
Yeah.
Like not pitching the ball, just chewing on tobacco and just spitting, making faces and not actually
it seems forever. Like a lot of mind games, maybe, like before. I don't know how they changed it, but
yeah, that's a thing that's one of the things that I like about baseball now is it's a very psychological sport. It's not just about the athletics. Of course, it is to a degree about the athletics, but it's the only game that I can think of where, for at least one point of time, it's pitcher versus batter. It's a one-on-one team sport at times.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to me. And there's a lot of mind games being played and things like that. Of course, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's one of the things I always liked about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how it's like a one-on-one.
Yeah, you, me, and our mutual friend Paul, and Paul especially will talk about baseball. And
right. I'm quiet.
You're the guy sitting in the corner like, oh, these nerds fucking talking about baseball.
Like, God.
Talk about a real sport like checkers.
God, y'all fucking love it for people who don't play.
Right?
I'm just a hater, though. That's just me. I'm a very hateful man. I'm a very hateful, repressed, sexually aggravated man.
Some would just say passionate, but yeah, aggravated is probably right.
Passionate. Those are for people who like me.
For this episode, we're researching the history of baseball, too, so get ready to be bored out of your fucking mind.
Well, I like history, so maybe there's some silver lining.
Yeah, there is some cool stuff in here that I didn't realize that murder came up so much.
Murder?
I made that up. I was hoping to keep you interested.
Damn it.
I couldn't find any
well,
murders
in baseball. You hooked me. I'm in, even if it's fake.
So there's over 100 years of controversy concerning the origins of the sport itself, but it's believed that most ball, bat, and run games have similar origins. Like they mostly started out in early Europe, Britain, and Irish societies. Your people, Irish.
Yeah, Irish strong, baby.
Some early names for the games that would become baseball are names like stickball's probably one of them. I wrote down some of my favorites, which is goal ball, Goal, ball.
Okay.
Round ball, which is kind of redundant.
Well, that's kind of what a fucking ball is, but okay.
Yeah. Fetch catch.
I like it. It's straight to the point. You know what you're in for.
Yeah. Stool ball, which I don't know where the stool came from, but
it's comical. I like that for comedy reasons.
My personal favorite, though, is stick and berries.
Oh, my God. Okay, that.
Wouldn't it be cool if that was an actual name? Because I just made that one up and wrote it down.
Damn it. Yeah, that would be good.
It would be a fun one, yeah.
I think that'd be my favorite, too. Stick and berries.
So, but because the origins of baseball wasn't really the theme of this episode, we're focusing on the home run, so I didn't want to focus on this part too much, but because it's integrated into it, and it made me laugh, I kind of wanted to include it. Allegedly, there was at least one early version of the game where the batters would pitch to themselves, probably, I'm guessing, throw the ball up to, you know how you throw the ball up and try to hit it with a baseball?
Yeah.
And if you're me, you miss. But
right, I was going to say, I suck at that, by the way.
I really suck at that.
Just because I know it does not mean I have practiced.
Yeah. But when they'd hit the ball, they'd run the bases in the opposite direction of how we run them now. So they'd run to third, second, first instead of first, second, third.
They go clockwise instead of counterclockwise. Yeah. Okay.
But they'd also...
I wonder why they changed it.
I don't know why they changed the direction. Maybe it's the same thing with how, here in America, we drive on the right side of the street and everyone else drives on the wrong.
Yeah, actually, I think that's only like England and one other country that do that.
You fucked up my joke, but yeah, you're probably right.
I'm sorry. God, I was sorry.
No,
sorry,
you didn't
guys.
fuck it up. It was a bad joke anyway, and it needed a little bit of lightening up, so thank you. But
You're welcome.
one of the ways they would be considered out was the same way we do now. Like if you tag somebody with the base or with the ball, they're out before they get on base.
Mm-hmm.
But another way they'd be considered out is if they were hit with the ball while running.
Like you could just wing it?
Like you could just wallop them with the baseball, which I'd love to see make a comeback.
Kidney shot.
Like I would watch the fuck out of baseball if it was still doing that, right?
God.
So yeah, unfortunately that rule is, obsolete later.
Yeah.
But
Pussies.
yeah, that rule was obsolete in later years.
Mm-hmm.
But we're coming to the foundation of the modern rules now. So I don't have like where baseball originated in this certain way because it's not, it's not the thing here. We're going to focus on the boring fucking rules of this game because
this is the home run, folks.
It's about the home run.
It's a little more niche than baseball, you fucking nerds.
Yeah. So it's not going to be like, well, in 1845, this happened, right?
John Baseball invented baseball.
Yeah. So instead we're going to focus on the rules. So in 1845, several members of the Gothams, which is a baseball team in New York, they were part of a club, but they felt like the club had grown too large for their taste, and they broke away and created an invitation-only club, right? Okay. So they found a playing field, which is Elysian Fields. It's was a large tree-filled parkland across from the Hudson River in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Hoboken.
So I'm probably saying that wrong. Somebody from New Jersey's like yelling at their streaming device right now, like, what the fuck?
Oh, you guys are always yelling.
Yeah, that's true. That's New Jersey. So
you don't know how to pump your own gas.
You're right. They would probably be sitting there more likely yelling. I can't do a Jersey accent all of a sudden. So the field was owned by a guy named Colonel John Stevens. I don't know if he's a real colonel. That was just his name. He charged them 75 years. He charges them $75 a year to rent the field. Okay,
damn,
which is a lot of money back in 1845.
Yeah.
I don't have a calculator and I'm not going to do it, but you could probably imagine it was probably closer to 78 nowadays.
70. God damn it.
In order to pay these rental fees, another guy named Alexander Joy Cartwright created another ball club so that he could collect the money so they could play, games on this field basically.
So they could play Twig and Berries.
The club was named the Knickerbockers. In honor of the fire company that Cartwright was a member of. Let me stop right there and tell you, because I know your question is probably going to be, well, why'd they call themselves the Knickerbockers, right? Like, I get they're named after a company, fire company he was with. So this is really interesting. I could not find out what the fuck a Knickerbocker was.
I don't think I've ever heard that word until this point.
Well, interesting. A little sidebar here. The New York Knicks, the basketball team, were originally the New York Knickerbockers.
Ah.
Yeah,
okay.
So because I always wondered what the fuck's a Knick. Well, it's apparently Knickerbockers. So, anyway, the Knickerbockers were organized as a formal team on September 23rd, 1845. So when they created this club, they also called for a formal set of rules for each member to adhere to. And amongst them, not even amongst them, the most important one is to have the reputation of a gentleman. Not making that up.
We are distinguished.
Yeah, so there's a lot of rules. Well, there's 20 of them, and I don't know if I should read through all of them because some of them are kind of old-timey. But just to give you an idea, like rule number 4 is the bases shall be from home to second base, 42 paces, from first to third base, 42 paces. That's it. So it's really, yeah, so if members appear after the game has commenced, they may be chosen into the game if mutually agreed upon.
Huh.
So, yeah, it's just a bunch of little formal, the ball must be pitched and not thrown to the bat.
What?
Yeah. Here's an important one. The ball knocked out of the field or outside of the range of first to third base is a foul.
Oh.
So by the initial reading of that, that's why we wanted to read through these, is kind of come to that one, because you know what? I forgot to make a note, and thank fuck I found that one. That was my point in saving this for the reading. Yeah, if the ball went over the fence or out of the field, because they didn't always have fences depending on where they were playing.
Sure.
But if it went out of the range of play, it was automatically a foul, no matter how epic of a hit it may have been. So,
oh, shit. So those epic home runs you didn't want back then.
Yeah, you didn't really want the epic home runs.
Like what we think of as the home runs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like a home run then was a foul and had people groaning instead of going, ooh.
Well, thanks. Now we don't have a fucking ball, asshole.
So you're probably wondering, well, what was a home run then? It was different.
Yeah, how does it work? Are there boundaries?
Well, here's what's interesting. In 1876, the first home run ever recorded, because I don't know if there was any others, but they were pretty meticulous about keeping notes on the games, because everyone, that was the way to pass time. They'd be given little scorecards and they keep track of things, right?
Right.
So on this day in 1876, first home run was an inside the park home run. He hit the ball, ran the bases while it was still in the field of play. It was hit by a guy named Ross Barnes, who apparently did nothing else. And he played for a team called the Chicago White Stockings.
Oh, boy.
I mean, you're probably going to be able to get this. Do you know what the team's called now?
Yes, the White Sox.
No, it was the Chicago Cubs. Not making that up.
No!
No, because I initially thought White Sox too, and I'm like, oh, I can get him with this one. Make sure to ask him.
So confident.
Anyway, according to the Chicago Tribune at the time, Barnes, I'm going to read this in my best old-timey radio announcer voice, all right? Even though this was in a newspaper, I like to do stupid voices. So,
yes.
Barnes coming to bat with two players out. Hey, the finest hit of the game. Straight down left field to the carriages for a clean home run. Does anything stick out about that?
Some good voice acting, like I've heard you in another popular podcast before.
No, it wasn't the voice acting, but thank you. It was the fact that he hit it to the carriages, which stuck out to me. Hit down left field straight to the carriages.
What's the carriages?
Okay, so I looked it up because that immediately stuck out to me. Maybe it doesn't stick out to everybody, but I was like, so let me look into that. So back then there wasn't a set universal rule of how the depth of the field should be. So right and left field would typically be between 300 and 400 feet. Center field, as with today, is further back, right?
Right.
So before the live ball era, which began in 1920, and we'll get to that, before that, home runs were rare in general. We don't have rock solid records from those days, but they estimate that before 1920, there's only about 100 home runs hit annually.
Oh, wow.
And in comparison, from 2001 until 2018, 224 inside the park home runs were hit, just inside the park home runs. And in that time frame, nearly 91,000 were hit over the fence.
Holy shit.
Not all fields had fences because it wasn't really a thing, right?
Right.
So if the stadium was full, and even if it wasn't probably, spectators would often bring their horse-drawn carriages and sit in the furthest out of the field and watch the game. So when he hit that home run that went to the carriages, it was actually talking about the carriages of the spectators that were out on the field watching. So, yeah. How cool would it be to find that baseball? If somebody happened to take it and, just kept it forever and had record of it being the first ever inside the park home run ever hit.
Sir, you owe me a horse.
Oh, imagine if he had hit a horse.
Winged me in the fucking head. That really hurt.
Good heavens.
Oh, I say. Not very gentlemanly.
Back to the fences, though. That's like it was before 1920. There was only 100 hit annually. And in the modern era, we're hitting over 91,000 over the fence alone, right?
Right.
Which is insane. So, what happened in baseball history that contributed so much to a dramatic change?
Yeah, that's a big leap.
Yeah. While there was no changes initially made to, baseballs themselves, the way they got treated during games did change. So starting in 1920, which is, like I said, the live ball era, balls were replaced at the first sign of wear, God damn it. So whenever they got hit or scuffed up or whatever, they were replaced after 1920. So that meant the balls were easier to see because they were clean.
Right.
And therefore easier to hit. And also, 1920 was the year that it became illegal to fuck with the ball. We're all familiar with... Yeah, so we're all familiar with the spitball, right?
Is that where do you like actually spit on the ball?
They would spit on it, or they'd rub like chewing tobacco and stuff on it, basically making it
like it's slippery. Kind of.
It would have something on it that would make it like buffer it. It would like buffer the hit and all that kind of thing. Make it maybe slippier to hit. I don't know.
Okay.
But in 1920, the infamous spitball became illegal, which here's something kind of cool too. There were 17 players that were using it at the time who were grandfathered in and could use it until they retired.
No shit.
So the last guy to use it was Burleigh Grimes, who retired in 1934. So that motherfucker was just Hawk 2-ing on balls for 14 years out of spite. He didn't have to do it.
He spit on that thing because he's a dick and he was allowed to.
It's the bottom of the knife. Grimes, Hawk 2-ing on that thing. Damn. Just those rules alone changed the game immediately, like from a low scoring game to a higher scoring game, like overnight. That year, Babe Ruth hit 54 home runs, which smashed his previous record of 29, and hit nearly triple what the second place player had hit. So the second place guy, I'm sure he was thrilled with himself, but he only hit 19. So, but the rule change wasn't the only thing that changed that. Ruth's hitting style was designed to hit home runs. I've seen like really old footage of him hitting, but he would basically hold the bat lower and he swung it kind of like an uppercut. And that's what created that home run, trajectory. Wow. Trajectory. Fun word.
So he just knew the right angle to hit it and like lob it out of the
he just had the right mechanics behind it, I guess.
I've only ever eaten Baby Ruth bars. I've never really watched Baby Ruth.
You know, I don't think I've ever had a Baby Ruth bar.
Pretty good. Not that, I mean, back when my teeth weren't all fucked up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. My teeth are like sensitive to sugar.
Yeah.
So I don't eat a whole lot of candy bars for as fat as I am. So another rule that predated this was instituted in 1901 and is still used today, and this is what helped with progression of the game, right? Before 1901, there was no rule that dictated this, but they added a new one called the foul strike. I know I just made a word salad, and we're going to try to break it down a little bit. But before this rule, foul balls didn't count as strikes, so he could hit as many as he wanted. So instead of, like, if you hit a foul now, like off the first pitch, it's strike one, strike two. You don't get a strike three on a foul, but, you know, you do rack up your foul count or your strike count until that point. So a good hitter back then could just keep on knocking fouls and not have any consequences because there was no strike for it.
Gotcha.
So they changed it to make it first two fouls you hit are strikes. The changes made the game more lively. I know it doesn't sound like it, but apparently they did.
A home run just sounds more exciting than a dude sitting there hitting the, you know, tapping the ball out or, you know, purposely cheesing it just so.
Yeah, you could just waste so much time. Like if you were really good, you could probably just, you know, stand there for an hour just knocking fouls.
Yeah, just get a feel for how the guy pitches and then boom.
Yeah, and wear him out or get in his head.
Yeah.
Because some of these changes made it more lively, according to them, they called the name of that era that it started the live ball era. That's where we got that name from.
Live ball.
Brought more fans to the games because if you recall, back in the 1920s, there wasn't jack shit to do.
Right, it's a lot of depression.
Right, Great. Yeah. So they would, at that point, because of that, you know, it was bringing in more fans because there's nothing to do. They started needing more seats. Teams with the big hitters, the big sluggers, they started becoming championship-winning teams. And when a strategy starts winning, inevitably other teams start to jump on that bandwagon, right, just to keep up, if nothing else.
Right.
So in 1931, another rule was changed. And prior to this rule, if a ball bounced after it was hit and went over the outfield fence, it became a home run, right?
Right.
So this new rule was called the ground rule double. And it changed the ruling so that instead of being a home run, it was an automatic double. So they'd get on second base instead of getting an automatic point.
All right. That's nice because I guess people would probably abuse that too if they could.
Yeah. So the automatic double, it was not. I don't know if it really speed up the game, but it made it harder to get a home run. Also, before 1931, if a ball went over the fence, it would still be counted foul if it went past the foul markers after leaving the plane of sight. Like if it went over the fence and you couldn't see it anymore, and then it went past the foul markers, it'd be a foul.
Okay.
But they changed this rule with the fair when last seen rule was instituted. So basically, once it goes over the fence and you can no longer see it, if it was in the fair ball area, it was a home run. If it bounced off to like further outside those boundaries after it hit the ground or after it was over that fence, it didn't matter. It's last time we saw it, it was fair. And that rule cost Babe Ruth between 50 to 78 home runs in his career. So,
shit.
Yeah, there's that. Huh. Another rule that changed was a sudden death stipulation, which stated that if a home run was hit and the number of runners exceeded the amount of runs needed to win the game, only the runners who were needed for the win would count. So, like, if someone was trailing by 2 points, bases loaded, and the batter hit a home run, it would only count as a triple because 3 points were enough to take the lead and they win. The batter would not be awarded a home run. Instead, it would be marked as a triple, and he would only get the RBIs for those three players. So, because of that rule, Babe Ruth's career total of 714 home runs would have actually been 715 if it had not been in effect earlier in his career. That's a whole.
Babe Ruth is just getting robbed over here.
Yeah, and that's a whole lot of words, and I'm sorry if it didn't make sense, but that's the best way I could think to articulate it. But yeah, it cost him that one more home run that he would have gotten, basically, is because of that rule before it changed. So,
Babe Ruth. Everybody ate a candy bar in his memory.
That's the history of the home run as we know it today. There hasn't actually been a whole lot of changes instituted to the actual home run while the game has, seen its fair share of changes.
They haven't touched the home run since.
I think, as far as I can find, the home run hasn't really been changed. But home run celebrations have.
Okay.
This won't include individual home run celebrations because we all know about the guy who hits a home run and he, gives the guy on second base a blowjob, but that's not important. We're not going to count that one. This is just going to be about team celebrations. And by the way, no player actually blows the second baseman. I made that up. Don't even look into it. You'll find some really weird stuff on Google.
They do hump the ground, though.
There's some ground humping, but that's not important either. So this, I couldn't really find like a history of like who was the first guy to hit a home run and his whole team come out and celebrate. I don't know. It's probably as old as the home run. Probably not as eccentric as some of these get today.
Yeah.
But we're going to go through some of the most fun home run team celebrations from 2023 because that's an article I found.
Okay. That's pretty recent.
Yeah. The Seattle Mariners. I don't know if they're any good or not, but, they're the Mariners, right? So when they hit a home run, they hand the guy who hit the home run when he comes to the little dugout a trident so he can be Aquaman,
Okay.
He can hold up this little toy trident and just look cool and like he just vanquished the Kraken or some shit. I don't know.
King of the ocean, baby.
Yeah, so that's that. That's pretty cool, I guess. The Angels, they have it doesn't really make sense, yes, because their team name is the Angels, but they wear a samurai helmet if they hit a home run.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Come on, guys.
Yeah, it's cool looking. I'm looking at a picture of it.
Halos and wings.
Halos and wings would make more sense. Now, this one makes sense. So the team we talked about earlier, the Chicago White Sox, when someone hits a home run on their team, they get to wear a Chicago mobster style outfit.
Oh, all right.
They get to wear the little fedora,
the pinstripe jacket.
It's more of a duster, but it is pinstripe.
Ah, okay, I got the pinstripe right. Nice.
Yeah. So
chewing on a
cool.
fat cigar.
Probably, I would hope so.
I hope so. Tommy gun?
No Tommy gun. But the Washington Nationals have a pretty cool one. All right, so, they're the Nationals, right? That's like the most patriotic name you could have for a team that doesn't include the word patriot in it.
True.
So, yeah, so to honor our nation's legacy and history, someone hits a home run, they start waving little miniature American flags, and everybody on the team starts donning powdered wigs.
Oh my God! No way.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool. And by cool, I mean it looks really fucking lame. Not gonna lie.
Right. That shit is so out of fashion.
So the next team is the Twins, the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes, rather. Minnesota, 10,000 lakes. So they use a fishing pole, and they get to wear a little fishing vest, act like they're fishing in the dugout, because why the fuck wouldn't you, I guess?
Yeah, that's what I think.
The Red Sox, they've got little
guys.
inflatable dumbbells. I don't get this one either. If anybody knows, feel free to send us a message. I don't know why some of these celebrations are what they do. It's a little weird.
Weirdos.
The Pirates have a cool one.
Okay.
You would imagine what the Pirates would have. They actually have they get a little prop sword to do their little swashbuckling dance with if they want to.
Oh,
so that's kind of cool.
Me rum, matey.
The Detroit Tigers have an interesting one too. Yeah. So Detroit, they hit a home run. They put on a hockey helmet. This one actually makes sense. Detroit is a huge hockey town. So
I mean, playing baseball. No, it doesn't.
Okay, I can't argue with you there. So on to our next team, because that, I guess if you break it down, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The Milwaukee Brewers.
All right, big beer drinkers.
Yeah, you'd think so. But they've become, because they're Wisconsin, all that, they wear the cheese head. The cheese head, okay. Yeah. So that makes sense. I'd actually probably be offended if they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So
I love the cheese.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The Cincinnati Reds.
Okay.
Just from the name, I'd be like, okay, I don't know much about Cincinnati. I don't know much about the Reds, so.
What does their logo look like? What does the Reds logo look like?
It's red background with a white C.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's nothing really sticks out. So what would it be? What could they possibly do to honor their state, their city, whatever? Well, they wear a Viking helmet.
Okay. Well, why didn't Minnesota do that?
Right. That would make more sense, right?
The fuck?
So,
okay.
So we're on to
All right, some of these guys are just completely missing the fucking mark on this shit, man. The samurai helmets.
Now, the Padres, they do something a little bit more simple. If someone hits a home run, they come into the dugout and they take a selfie together, basically. Okay?
Okay. All right. Little modern twist on the
celebration. A little modern twist. Yeah, they take a picture together. The A's. The Oakland A's.
That's a weird name.
Yeah, it took me a minute because I was like, am I reading that right? Of course I am. That's what the name is. And I believe it used to, and it probably still does, but they're the Oakland Athletics. But they call them the A's for short. Haven't watched any of their games in a while. If they're not using that anymore, I'm sorry. It started back in 2023, I believe, but they'll wear a lacrosse mask or a catcher's mask. I don't know why. I have no clue.
Folks, wrong game.
Yeah, so moving on to the Royals.
Okay, Royals. There we go. That's a name.
Yeah, we're going to keep it on theme, right?
Right.
So the Royals wear a gladiator mask.
What the fuck?
It's almost frustrating at this point, isn't it?
Guys!
With that, we're going to stop looking through all these celebrations. If you're still with us, thanks for listening. This has been the home run episode of the Everyday History Podcast. Join us next time. Who knows what our topic's going to be? He sure doesn't.
I was clueless today. Just like all of you folks.
I think, honestly, after this, we're all a little clueless.
Yeah, I walked away from this with more questions than this topic has answered.
Well, maybe we'll address one of those questions next week on the Everyday History Podcast. We're probably not. Have a good week, everybody.